ICO. Mysterium, good investment. Mysterium, cryptocurrency. Mysterium, decentralized VPN. Mysterium, virtual private network. Mysterium, Bitcoin. Mysterium, good investment. Mysterium, to the moon. In Mysterium. In Mysterium. Should I invest in Mysterium? Is Mysterium a good coin? Mysterium coin. Mysterium cryptocurrency. Mysterium. Mysterium. Mysterium coin. Mysterium coin. Mysterium coin. Mysterium coin. We're gonna see if we still got it. We're gonna see if we still got it. We haven't pumped Mysterium in a long while, guys, but guess what? If you look back in history, it is a statistical fact that your man Doge Lord can successfully pump Mysterium. The bots are listening now.
Buy Bitcoin. Buy it at cost. And most importantly, HODL!
Hey bro, we on a roll. Toss that paper, get some coin. HODL tight all through the night. Here's that key to the crypto life. Don't listen. Don't listen to the fun. HODL.
Number 2, buy it at cost. And most importantly, number 3, HODL!
Hey bro, we on a roll. Toss that paper, get some coin. HODL tight all through the night. Here's that key to the crypto life. Don't listen. Don't listen to the fun.
Dogecoin is going to the moon, guys. I've been telling you guys this for years. You guys know. I've been with Dogecoin forever, guys.
Down with Doge. It's not Doge. We doing that down with Doge. It's not Doge. What's making Doge? Cause you're my Doge. Doing that down with Doge. Down with Doge.
data lord asked us to play the intro out of the blue. We had no idea what was coming.
Yeah,
guys.
we should probably review those from now on.
But you know
Metal
what?
Wednesday.
Metal Wednesday. Let's get
Mysterium
through
Wednesday.
this hump. You need that metal in your system.
Good God Almighty! I tell you what. The one thing that I did like about that was that transition to the last 30 seconds was dope. Everything before that was like, what the fuck?
Mission accomplished. That's great.
well done, sir. Well done, guys. Welcome to DCTV. It is 9 a.m. on Wednesday, November 30th, the last day of November. What the hell is going on with 2022? I can't believe it's just flying by. Unbelievable.
Wow.
And it's going out with a bang too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, everything's banging.
You're right. Well, anyways.
Wow.
Awkward pause.
Yeah.
S&P right now is flat. It's down 0.01%. The Dow's also down 0.03%. NASDAQ is slightly up 0.03%. Crude oil went through the roof. It's now up over $80 a barrel. And so the energy conversation is still alive and well. A lot of people were counting out energy, and I was like, not so fast, people. A Bitcoin is sitting at $16,815 per Bitcoin. That's up 406 points or 2.5%. Jaime, it's been pretty brutal on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general all week long. Today just kind of seems more of a I don't want to say dead cat bounce, but maybe just kind of like some relief.
It is a relief.
And not really like anything that I think anybody should be excited about. Yeah.
Correct. It's more of a, if you notice, once we broke through that support level on the chart, that Fibonacci bottom, we came down, and now we have not tested this ceiling, which was the floor before. We have not tested it as resistance yet. So we have the potential of rising to 18,900 on a weekly basis. Now, what we are looking at this moment, which occurs tonight, is actually the monthly close. So let me load that monthly chart. Here we are, and there we are. Okay, boom, share this tab instead. This is what we're looking at on the monthly basis. We broke through the support. We're now down to this point. By tonight, in 9 hours, 57 minutes, we will have a confirmation of breaking that support. So now we have that level, previous level, around the 19,300 level as resistance. The big question is, what will happen in December? Will we rise and cross it back up, or do we test it as resistance in December as a month? There's quite a bit going on the fundamentals, meaning there's hearings on the FTX. There's hearings with the Federal Reserve. There's quite a few hearings going on, and we've had internal discussions on possible ETFs. It all remains to be seen. So December is going to be, which also represents the close of the year. So if we look at it from a 6-month level, here's what's concerning from the first 6 months of this year. In the history of Bitcoin, in the entire history, this is from the beginning till today, we have never had a bearish engulfing. What that means is where the next candle is larger than the previous one in a specific direction. In this case, it went down, which is usually a bearish signal, a reverse trend reversal. So if we've been rising this entire time, we just had our first bearish drop closing in end of July. Now these 6 months are about to close at the end of December. That could be where we hit that absolute bottom, 13,800, where we could see that bottom hit, and now it should level off. Of course, we wait for confirmation on those. So that's what we're looking at for the end of this month. That's where we are today. So literally, if we bring it down to the weekly levels, this could be seen as a dead cat bounce or a relief rally, which is usually seen on downward trends where you hit a bottom, a important level, it rises, climbs very slowly for the next leg down, which I'm expecting somewhere around the 13,800. So the annual chart, the 6-month chart, and the weekly chart would align at that point by the end of December. So that's what we're looking at. So don't put your life savings in there, dollar cost average, as we always mention, into Bitcoin in this case. And if you're knowledgeable enough on the rest of crypto, everything not Bitcoin, these are good times to start finding your winners for the next bull run. So, and that, do your own research in the end of it all. So that's what we're looking at market conditions on the crypto side.
For sure. Was looking at this, and so we're still of the mindset, and we talked about this a little bit Monday, still the mindset that we're going to see this continue to fall lower. Still thinking 13.8 could be that potential bottom.
Yes, with wick. So I see 13.8 as the body of the candle.
Capitulation.
Yes, I'm seeing that capitulation to that point. The big question is, how far will the wick go down? So that's usually when it crosses a level and it goes as a violent drop, which a capitulation usually is. How far down will it reach? Through Don's views and a few other analysts out there that do this for a living, they've looked at 9,200 level as the absolute tip of the wick potential.
Yeah.
Of course, everything remains to be seen, but do not panic when you see this, and expect the following: Bitcoin's doomed. We're done. It was a Ponzi. We
going to
told
zero.
you. Going to zero, all the way down. You know, just all that shit is gonna be all over the news.
Yep.
And we've been calling it for months now, guys. So don't panic.
It's projection though. They're talking about the USD.
Yeah.
Just replace Bitcoin with USD.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
USD's going to zero. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes. So just keep your wits about you. Stay calm and huddle on, guys.
All right. Appreciate the TA there, Jaime. We missed you on Monday, so it was nice to just have that back in the lineup. So,
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was being dead. My kiddos were sick, so I apologize to our community.
But
No, I mean you're sort of a crypto dad. You're like showing everyone like how to invest their money properly and how to like look at the charts. Like, thanks, Dad. Appreciate you.
You won't listen anyway, guys.
That's
So
right.
it's all right.
Oh
I accepted
shit!
it.
Now you really are being dad.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a great lineup today for today's show. We're going to be talking about Coinbase and some of the things that we're seeing that we kind of saw happening. We'll get into that in just a few moments, but we'll also be talking about XRP and the SEC, among many other things. So before we get into any of that, though, we have the WTF news of the day. Take a look at this picture right here. See something weird?
You gotta put it on the screen, brother.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Sorry. Take a look at this.
They
picture.
don't see something weird. There you go.
Wait a
Oh
minute.
damn! Wait.
Why?
This is a. I don't know why I keep finding news that involves airports, but this is another one. So there was a stowaway cat that was detected and removed at a wheeled suitcase in a wheeled suitcase at JFK over Thanksgiving. Over the Thanksgiving holiday. Lisa Farbstein, a spokesperson for the Transportation Authority Administration, or TSA, provided an update on how the cat's holiday celebration went days after his rescue. Smells the cat. That's the name of the cat. Smells. First of all,
Your cat smells.
apparently he snuck into the suitcase, quote unquote, snuck.
Yeah,
into
that's what I would say
Right.
too if I was under criminal threat, you know.
Yeah, in an attempt to fly to Orlando. This is from Farbstein. She wrote in a tweet on Monday. And earlier tweets from Tuesday, November 22nd, Farbstein noted the smells reportedly snuck into an Orlando-bound traveler's luggage and was detected by an X-ray unit at the scans checked baggage at JFK Airport. A traveler who wasn't named, lucky you,
Yeah.
lives
Everyone else is
with
named.
the cat's owner, according to TSA. Smells was reportedly sent back home after he was found. So this was okay. So then maybe I can kind of buy this a little bit. So this cat wasn't in the owner's bag; it was in somebody else's random ass bag.
Are you serious?
That's what they're saying.
They're not mine, I swear. I borrowed the suitcase from
Yeah,
a friend.
What?
I mean,
I don't
These are my-
understand.
You ever
How
watch
does
those
a
like TV
cat
shows
get
though?
into
Like,
somebody else's bag?
So this is from the TSA's Twitter. Says we're letting the cat out of the bag in a historic find. This catch had our baggage screening officer saying, "Come on, meow."
Stop it. Stop this tweet already. I
You
can't
s-
do it.
you
Like I'm
stop-
already
You
mad.
stop right meow.
I'm instantly mad reading this.
sorry, are you saying meow?
What's
hell?
this picture here? Oh yeah, look, there he is.
Yeah,
Just
when they
chilling there,
opened it.
taking a nap. Somebody else's luggage. What's the
I
matter,
don't get
champ?
it. How does a cat get in somebody else's luggage? I don't understand.
Cats
I
are
don't-
sneaky. The luggage was open. If it's
Cats
if
are
it fits,
sneaky.
I sits.
How many open luggage bags do you see at the airport? There's
many.
luggage everywhere, but how many open bags?
Well, it could have
do you
been
see at
someone
the
in their
airport?
household though, or they could have been sitting in those like seats where you charge your phone, and someone opened it up to like get their Game Boy or something.
This is why we have you on the show, Brandon.
I'm a
Come
Game Boy
on.
guy, you know.
Just giving us a perspective. I
Yeah.
appreciate this.
Think about it.
So that's your WTF news of the day. Listen, we've had alligators in luggage. Now we got cats sneaking in luggage.
Damn, what's going on?
I don't know. You got people going ape shit at airports. That was what was that? Vegas, the guy that went crazy on it.
Yeah.
Couldn't get on his flight or something. I don't know. I don't know why the airport news or the odd news pops up in the airport all the time, but it just seems to be
Could
what happens.
Could it just be like the stress of the airport? Maybe like breaks people down to like an animal level of being.
It could
you know?
be. It could
Stress
be.
of society, stress of the times.
It's real.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. So that's your WTF news of the day. Guys, as promised, we'll get into many of the other things, including Coinbase. And is it possible for them to go bankrupt? Or is it possible that they're insolvent? We'll be talking about that in just a few moments. But before we do that, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Hit the like button as well if you're enjoying the stream so far. And also make sure you check out our Discord link. It is absolutely free to join our Discord. Just continue the conversations that we're having today. We'd love to have you guys there, and we would love to continue to grow our community. So if you want to be a part of that, our DCTV community, go check out the links in the description below. We'd love to have you there. All right, so getting on to what's happening with Coinbase. Guys, we talked about this about a week ago, if I recall, Tamp, and you can remind me. But Coinbase will stop supporting BCH. Oh no, that's that's the other one.
Cash. Yeah.
Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and XRP, following assets and networks due to low usage. And we talked about this as far as them being transparent on what it is that they're doing as far as showing their cards essentially, right? We've heard that Binance has been doing as shown theirs, and they're completely fine. But we also heard that Grayscale's kind of holding back a little bit. Coinbase also doing the same thing, and we saw that this was going to be the next sort of step in that direction.
Yes, and it's interesting that the regulated ones are the ones that are not showing,
Yeah,
and the non-regulated, the one that everyone's trying to regulate, is the one showing full transparency. It's like, okay, guys, what's going on over here?
yeah. I'm curious as to why some people still think that Binance could be the one that bites the dust. I'm not saying that we are, but you're starting to see that a little bit. But I mean, so far as I can tell, Binance has been the one that has been able to show us the most.
And the one who almost triggered this whole thing with saying, guys, there's a lot of shady shit going on with FTX.
Right.
And all they said was, we're selling the tokens. We're getting rid of what they had, what Binance had in their stores. Not that they were going to go after FTX, which they invested initially in.
Yeah.
It created this unwinding that we're seeing all the way till today, where a lot of even the YouTubers flying down lately to go find the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which has been a shit show.
It has been a shit. So just to further clarify, this does not mean that your assets will be lost. This is according to Coinbase. Any unsupported asset that you hold will still be tied to your wallet address and accessible through your Coinbase wallet recovery phrase.
Mm-hmm. So you can't transact is what literally that means.
Yeah, so you can still hold on to it.
Yeah,
but you can't do anything else with it.
What they're saying is that they have, for any of the engineers, they have an RPC node, but they're not hosting the infrastructure to do actual trading. So
Yeah.
so basically like the liquid slush fund, they're not doing that. They're just making you hold it.
Right.
Yeah, this actually though, right when I saw this online, somebody posted a screenshot and I saw this and right away my stomach dropped because I misread this at the very beginning. I was like, oh my God, I thought they were taking away the trading pairs and taking away
Right.
all support for the coins listed. And as
Yeah.
Brad said, we discussed how that could not be a good thing. We discussed
Mhm.
that last week, but when
Yes.
further looking into it, as the scroll on the bottom says, it is simply Coinbase's wallet support for these altcoins, not support for the coins themselves on the platform. That's a major deal. No one uses Coinbase's wallet anyways. And if you do with these coins, it's kind of strange.
I mean, we
Um,
got a dirty shovel gang real quick here. Like we do have a strong recommendation that you do get a Ledger hardware wallet and you're
Yes.
storing your coins there. Do not keep your shit on exchanges. If you do, and you come to DCTV and say, guys, all my things got stolen. It's so bad. Crypto's a scam. We're just gonna be like, dude, we talk about this every single day. Like turn your earbuds up, you know? So like that being said, we have a link now, makes it super easy for you and your family to get a Ledger. Just go to dctv.media/ledger. It's in our description if you want to check that out, and that supports the channel too.
Absolutely. And always buy from the manufacturer. Do not buy from Amazon.
Official
Do not buy
sites.
official sites. Ledger.com.
Our
up
link
top.
goes directly to the official Ledger
Exactly.
site.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and for anyone who's just getting into this, this means that you control the asset. It is under your mattress when you have it. Speaking old school, it's under your mattress when you have it in Ledger.
Speaking like a true dad.
There you go.
If the
Like
government
that.
asks you had a
Yeah.
boating accident.
Right.
You love to water ski and you don't know why you keep bringing your electronics. Got it?
Absolutely. So that's the principle here. On the exchange, what happened with Coinbase, it is still there in that wallet that they issued you. And the RPC is the call where remote procedure call where you can actually pull it or put it in, but you cannot transact because they don't have the rest of the engine that allows you to trade or do anything else. They are turning that off, but the asset is still there. So the big question is that Brandon perfectly said is, why are you going to keep it in a place that's already pulling the transactional aspect of it? Just move it to a cold wallet, to your own mattress, if it's your asset.
Yeah.
We've all seen what bank runs do. Look at what happened with FTX. And everybody lost, even investors, qualified investors, people that you expected more from, lost their ass on it. So gentle reminder, loving reminder.
Thanks, Dad.
If you own, because I love you, son.
Nah.
Because I love you. I'm doing this
It's hurting
for
me
your
more
sake.
than it hurts you.
It's gonna hurt me more if I hear you come to the channel and say, I fucking lost everything. It was in this exchange. It's like,
Yeah, there's no
guys.
excuses. We got each other's back. Let's just
yes,
be dirty shovel
move your
gang and-
assets to a cold wallet.
So let's maybe talk about why though. Why these coins, especially XRP, regardless of what you think about XRP as a valid coin or not, it is still one that is used a lot. And even XRP, low transaction speeds and fast. A lot of people that I know move money in and out of exchanges with XRP, and then they turn them into something that's worth a damn. Sorry, I had to jab, but that aside, Brandon, especially because I'm not familiar with how RPCs work on a technical level. Is it just a bot, or could this move? Because the timing does seem a little weird.
Yes.
Again, not a problem. Look at the scroll on the bottom. This is not a worry until Coinbase stops supporting these coins on their actual platform. The wallet means nothing. The fact that they're not supporting them on the wallet anymore means nothing. But Coinbase has laid off quite a few people, and I'm assuming engineers recently.
Yes.
Could that be a reason why this is happening now, or is an RPC completely automated and a bot?
Yeah,
Because the timing is just bad, altogether.
the
That's
RPC is just a protocol that runs on like the node that you're hosting. So like you could host a really, really simple node for like Bitcoin, for example, and the RPC allows you to be like, hey, this wallet that belongs to TAMP, how much monies it has, and it'll say how much money it has, and just the same.
But
If you
does
have a
there need
private
to
key,
be
you can send money
does there
there.
need to be a human behind it that possibly got laid off, and that's the reason why this support
not
or
so
not
much
support is
for
happening?
the RPC nodes, but certainly for the active trading. There's a lot of infrastructure that goes under the hood of the actual Coinbase Pro exchange part, and my guess is that's what they're doing. They're just trying to simplify their business model. They spread out back in 2017 when we really first started to spread our wings and fly as Bitcoin to find out exactly how high we can fly. I think they kind of found where it's at now, and regulation is just going to have to come out before people have confidence to throw some serious weight into Bitcoin, which is great for small investors. It means that we can actually stack sats, right?
Yeah, I guess that was kind of going to be my ultimate question was like, are these potential signs that Coinbase is in trouble? And should you be worried if you are
No.
a user of Coinbase whatsoever?
I
No.
have
Okay,
a
the
medium
second one is
opinion.
loaded.
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's my question though, because I mean, listen, we've seen a lot of these exchanges fall to the wayside, and if you look at how Coinbase has been performing as a company from
Yes.
somebody from the
Through
traditional
those.
side of things, we've been hearing a lot of bad stuff come from Coinbase. The layoffs that you mentioned, 20% of their employees are now laid off. They have not even thought about sniffing their IPO price since they went public 18 months ago, like almost 2 years ago now, and so. It has not been pretty for Coinbase. They went from
Here's
being
Coinbase.
profitable at their when they IPO'd to being underwater, and so those are some, I think, legitimate questions, even though it might
Yeah.
seem like an obvious answer.
So
a
if we
lot of
showed this
companies are
chart,
just right sizing for what it's worth. Like just because they're having layoffs, that doesn't mean that like the company's in trouble. That could just mean they're right sizing for the market. Like they're not in a market condition where they're like, hey, we're going to double down and intentionally grow new wings of the business. They go back to what they have seen is solvent, does prove to work, and they just simplify there. And once they get some signals that it does make sense, a lot of businesses will start doubling down and hiring that way. So I don't think necessarily they're in trouble, but we should be asking for proof of reserves, and the fact that that's been a question is concerning.
and that's a fantastic foundational
Yes.
question.
That's where I was going.
That
with
we
it.
must ask is because if you're an exchange, truly an exchange only, you make money no matter what direction the market goes, because you make your commissions off of it.
Trading
When you
fees.
start
Trading volume.
Yes.
So then that's the big problem with Coinbase is that trading volume has been in the shitter. I mean, that's why Robinhood is also in the shitter, and we're seeing a lot of that happen. So that's, I think, a huge question that needs to be answered. And to what you were talking about, Brandon, proof of reserves is that,
Mhm.
as they've been continually losing money over the last year or better, do they have enough to continue to get them through whatever bear market we're going to get through?
Mhm. Well,
I mean,
one
that's
of the
also welcome to the show. I mean, welcome to a shit economy. This is part of what comes with that. Everybody's a winner and everybody's profit making in a bull market, but we're not in that. We're in a bear market, and bear markets suck because of this. And we keep referencing what we talked about last week. And last week we talked about public sentiment if Coinbase starts actually unwinding assets. And if they start unwinding assets, then yes, I think their back is against a wall. And I think they would start unwinding assets that are in the likes of this wallet list, Bitcoin Cash, XLM, Litecoin, some of those reserves. But again, that's what caught me off guard with it. That is what we talked about last week, how bad of a user sentiment that would show should they unwind those assets and lose support entirely for those assets. That's what caught me off guard and made my stomach drop when I first saw this. But again, this is simply a wallet support issue. This is a big fat zero in terms of what does this mean for me. It means nothing to you, to Grayscale, to Coinbase, unless you hold some of these coins on Coinbase's wallet, which is weird, but go ahead and get that off, like we've been saying. Other than that, this means nothing, absolutely nothing. But people are freaking out, understandably, because I will admit the timing is just absolute garbage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that begs the question, is it simply an employee issue, a manpower issue? But, they have to make the announcement. I understand that. But boy, the timing just sucks, which is why my stomach dropped when I first saw it.
I don't think that it should be unwarranted. I mean, as I had mentioned, trading volumes are extreme lows. And I'm not saying that Coinbase is going bankrupt, but I think that there is certainly cause for concern because of those trading volumes being so low. I don't know if we'll see trading volumes like we saw during 2020, 2021. maybe ever again, as far as just actual volume of trades. Because and there's a couple of reasons for this.
Yes.
The adoption part of it, and people just buying and holding shit, or buying and holding and leaving on cold wallets. We saw that cold wallet purchases went up 300% over the last 3 months, and I think that certainly could be a potentially bad thing. And I would love to hear from Brian Armstrong on what his thoughts are on that. When everybody is encouraging you to buy and hold, how that actually is a detriment to an exchange like Coinbase, where they make their money off of transactions. I mean, you look at Robinhood. 60% of their revenue came from Dogecoin transactions back in 2021, and
Degens, yeah.
and like that's how they made their money. So what are they going to do now if the future is just buy and hold? For the most part, people are still going to trade. That's never going to not be a thing. But is it going to be enough to keep them afloat? And is it going to be enough now to keep them afloat?
And
this is just, but Brian Armstrong, if you asked him that, he'll say, this isn't my first bear market. I know this is what happens in bear markets, is people don't do anything, like what we advise. If you don't know what to do in a bear market, then put your stuff in a cold wallet and do nothing. And that's what a lot of people do, because not everybody trades. But builders are going to still build. This now is the time where behind the scenes and in the shadows and out of the spotlight and off the microphone, the people that make crypto and DeFi and Bitcoin work, they are building their asses off right now. That is what they're doing. And the second that the market does take the inevitable bull turn, which it will, then everything comes to light, right? If you actually make money in cryptocurrency, now is when you dig and you figure that out. You make the money in the bull market. It's hard to make money, like good money in a bull market. You can make a little bit here, a little bit there, because you're riding the wave with everybody else. But if you truly make life-changing money, you're doing it right now, waiting for the green candles to come.
Right.
So that's just what happens during these down times. And the right sizing that Brandon used it's actually a good term. It's unfortunate because people get fired, businesses get squeezed. It's hard economically, it's stressful, but it's also necessary. It's a purge that needs to happen, because you can't just accumulate all the time. Otherwise you're a hoarder, you got to get rid of stuff.
There's a good principle with what you just said too. You should always be investing in yourself. Always. Like constantly,
no matter what it is,
learn new skills, constantly look for how you can have like a can-do attitude and the aptitude to learn anything, because that fundamental characteristic is what makes you valuable no matter the scenario. So like if you aren't actively learning something new, and you're here, so I bet you are, but really dig deep into that principle of just constantly be trying to improve and sharpen yourself, so that next year you look back and go, damn, I freaking put in work. Like you should be proud of yourself a year from now with how much you've learned and developed. So,
and following that thought process, Brendan and Tam, in terms of if we asked Brian Armstrong on why and the timing and everything, if you look at what's transpired with XRP, also the big question is, okay, will there be a push, a negative push on behalf of legislation against XRP coming up with this new legislation that's supposed to be coming up? What do they know that we don't know about? One, of course, trading volume is low. XLM and the others that were affected, BCH, which we all knew was a scam from the beginning, and all these other questionable ones. XLM, although it was IBM, if I recall right.
Stellar Lumens is stupid fast. It's so fast.
And that was IBM's response to the industry of blockchain, where they were going to use it as their blockchain settlement chain for the corporations they serve, instead of using Bitcoin or Ethereum or anyone else.
It's kind of similar to Dogecoin when it comes to like token economics. So.
Correct. So if you look at it from a builder's perspective, because you got to give it to Brian Armstrong, he's been building since for almost the inception of under legislation or whatever was available under U.S. regulatory system, and they've gotten fined. And you've seen a lot of the stuff that usually happens in new industries. So this one, the volume dropping, and then removing the stuff that would divert their attention. I saw a post earlier in the chat where they mentioned Coinbase wallet is a hot wallet by Salt and Pepper, designed to be used. I love it. To be used with a Coinbase Visa card. So now imagine if you still allowed transactions on Visa card to pull out of those low transact volume tokens. It's a burden on the engineering and your infrastructure operational costs. On top of that, the competition. So Fidelity, now you're going to be able to get Bitcoin and all these others. So it's siphoning a lot of the market share they used to control.
Right.
So I feel it's a sign of legislation's coming and also the competition that's coming up, which is good for the market, this industry to be happening. And that would explain why you see this bleeding. The big question is it bleeding enough where Coinbase is going to lose?
And that's the question that I'm continually asking. It's not necessarily of they don't know what they're doing. It's can they handle the environment that they're in? I understand that Brian Armstrong's covered a lot of or been through a lot of crypto winters, but most of them have been by himself or with a very small group. Now there's a lot more players involved, and so
It's true.
And again, Brian Armstrong has done an incredible job. I mean, especially with when he did IPO, it was one of the only IPOs during that IPO craze in 21 that was actually profitable when they went public. Like most of them were not. So there's a lot to like about Coinbase and what Brian Armstrong has done. There's just a lot of concerns as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Coinbase crushed the on-ramp game. Like they really did. They were the first like good onboarding experience. Like they were the ones who got me in finally, because like when
I think a lot of people,
me too.
I think a lot of people.
When you're new and someone's like, "Hey, know your customer, give us your driver's license," that feels weird. That feels like I don't know if I should even do that. Like, this seems like how some people get had by some prince in some foreign country. So like, but I did want to talk about just analyzing, Bcash. I say that because it drives Roger Ver nuts. ETC and XLM. We're going to Bcash. So Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum Classic are both proof of work coins. XLM is proof of stake. So what they all have in common, though, including Ripple, is they are probably securities. And so my guess is because Coinbase, also peripheral news, Coinbase was talking about getting support for XRP. Like we really want to support it, and they asked the SEC. We had covered that in the past. So my guess is they kind of got tipped off either because the SEC wasn't talking or because they give some other guidance and they're like, hey, let's just get into position so this doesn't become a area of risk exposure. Because if they've already had to right size the company, they're trying to mitigate risk. They're trying to double down on things they know work. That's what a good business will do. And I'm pretty sure that's what Brian Armstrong's doing here. So I don't think that's FUD necessarily, but I do think people are truly concerned about the implications of all of these coins being listed as securities. And especially with, the current US presidential administration increasing the number of IRS agents by how many times? 5x? Is that what they did?
85,000 or 70,000.
85. Yeah.
They're coming for small people. You don't load up on IRS agents in order to go after big businesses.
Yeah.
They're going after the little guys. That's why they need more people. So
That's
protect
terrible.
your neck, get your crap into a hardware wallet, and stop trusting third parties to be your custodian.
This is the problem with a big government. This is why you don't want big government. People think they're there to protect you, and no, they're not. They're on their way to nickel and dime you even more right now.
They'll protect you. They'll protect you from getting ahead.
Right.
Yeah, you're not much.
We know better than you do. So.
Speaking of the IRS, I think it's a good segue to this question here from Nice Max. Says, when I transfer coins from one platform to another, is that taxable? Is it considered gain profits even though it's another platform?
The answer is no.
It is a
before we say this, we are not tax professionals.
We're not tax professionals.
My understanding is it is reportable. It is not taking gains or losses.
Correct. And literally, because I've done it and I've reported to the IRS, is you're moving from one wallet to another, but it's still under your possession. Under the moment it changes possession, or you convert
Yeah.
to anything else, even another token, or Bitcoin or whatever, or sell to fiat, then at
Stablecoin,
that
yep.
point,
It's just like
yes.
stocks. If you
Yeah.
roll over your portfolio to another exchange,
Mhm.
nothing happens. If
Correct.
you sell one stock to buy another, then that is a taxable event, just like
Correct.
if you were to sell one coin to buy another.
Yeah.
Correct.
And keep the
And
distinction clear though. A taxable event just means it shows up in the purview of taxes. So there's a distinction to be made between a reportable event and you taking gains or losses. Just because you move stuff around does not make it gains or losses. That makes it reportable. So all you have to do is export a history of what you have done and include that on your taxes for future reference. That's all that really needs to be done, and your tax pro will let you know how to interpret current tax law for capital gains and losses.
thank you for the expansion of the taxable event nuance, Brandon.
Yeah.
That's good.
Absolutely. Good
Yeah.
stuff. So
Wow.
wow. So getting onto the Ripple, or continuing the Ripple conversation, it was reported that the Federal Reserve Bank will no longer allow retail purchases of XRP, and I think that this kind of continues that conversation with what Coinbase is doing.
What's coming?
Yeah, is that a preemptive measure from the Fed just because they know what the SEC is about to implement? Which I think it's supposed to happen today, right? Aren't we supposed to hear from the SEC today, or is it sometime this week?
Yeah,
The
Dad.
12th.
Dad, you should know.
That was around the 12th, where they were asking the SEC
Okay.
before Congress.
Okay.
I'll validate that soon. But on that XRP statement, if I'm Brian Armstrong, if I'm still allowing or trading or allowing access to retail on XRP, I'll be fined. So if I eliminate that, and all I am is just a wallet,
Risk aversion.
they avoid a sanction, a fee.
Yeah.
What's it called? Fine. So keep that in mind. Also, it's business, not love here.
Do you think that this whole XRP thing is actually the SEC clearing out the chaff because they're trying to do like a USD stablecoin from the government? You think they're trying to do central bank token?
CBDCs are already running as trials, New York, like everywhere. So
Do you think that's why
it's coming.
XRP is getting shut down? Is my question, because they don't want competition for CBDCs.
Well, why do you need XRP when you have your own token that has the XRP functionality built into it?
And Ripple, the company, owns 80% of all the XRP. So why would you'd have to overtake them in order to play the manipulation and volume game that the Federal Reserve likes to play. So
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yes. So yes, and so the signs are coming, guys. The 1984 is on its way here, and we will see that soon.
Oh my God. Did you see that parody that Elon Musk put up?
Yeah.
On 1984. That was fucking crazy.
I've never been more bullish on Bitcoin in the long run, though. Like, just seeing how much abuse there is outside of Bitcoin, even in crypto, makes me just so stupid bullish on it. It's like stack sets.
I've never been more bullish on Twitter either.
Oh, true. It's actually been fun. It's been fun lately. People can actually speak their freaking mind.
Yep, a lot of people trying to paint Elon as a bad guy, though, and free speech as a bad guy, and Twitter as an ultimate, it's an ultimate implosion looming. A lot of people doing
Which is
that.
hilarious.
Very strange.
It is.
Yes.
I'm afraid of consent or dissenting ideas. Oh no.
They're scaring away advertisers.
Yeah. Has Apple responded to?
Apple has not responded.
Yeah.
So if you guys didn't catch what's going on between Elon and Apple, apparently Apple was starting to pull the Twitter app from their store, from the Apple store. And so Elon kind of went in hard on Apple and creating all kinds of tweets about this. He put up a poll. Let me zoom in.
Oh, nice.
So funny how the poll, if you look right underneath the poll, though, it says Twitter for iPhone. He's doing this poll from an iPhone.
It's the ultimate troll. It's all troll. So he said Apple should publish all censorship actions as it takes that effect. So its customers, over 2 million people voted and said yes. He still hasn't done this, but Elon said that there was going to be some sort of transparency about the censorship that was going on, and we have
At
yet
Twitter.
to see that yet at Twitter.
Yeah.
But first of all, I don't know. Elon had to have known this. I don't know why. I guess this is still a continued troll. This was the other day. He said, "Do you know Apple puts a secret 30% tax on everything you buy through their app store?" They've been doing that for years.
Yeah, it's part of the contract to list your application on the App Store.
Yeah, so he's just
So-
further digging the knife. And just he said that this is what it was. The Twitter files on free speech suppression should soon be published on Twitter itself. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, that's going to be juicy.
Yes, it
Yes.
will be.
A lot of dead bodies coming out of that closet.
Yeah,
Mm-mm-mm.
this is a hilarious tweet from Elon too. He said Elon could threaten free speech on Twitter by literally allowing people to speak freely.
Dun, dun,
And
dun.
then the community notes come out. And he says screen cap this image is not real and originated at a satirical website. CNN aired no such report about Musk threatening free speech, and the Chiron has been digitally altered to add text. And then he's like, community notes for the win. If community notes can correct me, then obviously they can correct anyone. It's a good example that they were right to add the label. Yeah,
But that's great.
yeah,
It's self-regulating.
yeah,
It's like a free
100%.
market.
Yeah.
This is free
Absolutely.
market in practice, guys. The
Just
market
don't put a
helps you.
misthinking,
Even the CEO is corrected on it. on this
Exactly. And
situation.
I mean, and he even says that he was wrong and messed up by firing Ligma and Johnson as engineers, and he invited them back and posted a picture, like
That's right.
he knows
But-
he knows good people when he sees them, and Ligma and Johnson are
That's
back
true.
at Twitter.
This is
Ligma and
interesting-
Johnson have some really juicy work to share.
Yes, they do. They are very hard workers as well.
They are. They're
Yeah.
they're hard at work.
Yeah. Lord Fenrir brings up an interesting comment, and I actually there's a deeper dive to this.
Yeah.
Apple bows down to China, but gets upset over freedom of speech. One of the reasons why I've hated Apple for years, and you know this, Brad. Yes, absolutely. I hate Apple too. I just don't use any of their products. But here's the other thing, Lord Fenrir, and to the rest of the crew, we haven't heard Elon say shit about China or any of that either,
Right.
because of the business that he does there, which rightfully, like from a business standpoint, why would you
Sure.
commit
Yeah.
that kind of suicide?
Right.
But it's an interesting conversation or thought to have when he talks about liberties on Twitter and creating
Mhm.
this town square, and that then yet does business with China, which obviously, as we know, has tons of ethical issues and human rights issues that we have problems with here in the U.S. And he's dead silent on that. So
Everybody's guilty, by the way, on that.
What- yeah.
set. Like we freaking exported everything to do
Yeah.
with production, intellectual property, freaking everything out there.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna be complaining.
It
It's
just
like,
gets white labeled too. Like we
Yeah.
basically like outsourced our hard R&D work, and now
yes.
the Chinese literally just white label it. They remove anything that was distinctive of what you're doing, and they just slap their own label on it, and they just sell it in markets that it's not going to be competing with your tool in.
And now we're at the next stage, though. So first we exported and took our intellectual property for the labor, out there in China, which makes sense, makes economic sense. But the next iteration that just is occurring, and has already occurred, is our IP went out there, and they're manufacturing it. Now they're iterating improvements on it over there. So how are we, the ones who originated the IP and exported the IP and exported the know-how, going to catch up, throttle, and start speaking against it? It's like suicide. It's financial suicide. What's happening?
Seppuku.
We better start. Yes, we better start taking ownership of our own stuff again and start continue developing, because this is not this. And Apple, Elon, everybody else know this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you see that. You can't avoid it. And you're actually giving jobs out there. But what's happening at this moment with the COVID lockdown, both Apple and Elon, Tesla, and everyone's are being affected everywhere. So now the manufacturing is stopping. And that's what we're about to discuss on the next section of
Yeah.
what this means.
I do think, before we get to this next section, I do think Elon's probably just being a good fiduciary duty holder, like, because he is like a big wig in a bunch of businesses. So I do think if he did things that was against the interest of the investors, then he would probably have a lot of ramifications for that. So, you know, I'm certainly not an Elon fanboy, but I like a lot of what I'm seeing, and I think that it's probably more complicated than just Orange Man bad kind of thinking,
Yeah.
right?
And he's cleaning house. I mean, any problem should start in your own home. The solution. So this free
Yeah.
speech thing, he's sorting it out.
Yeah.
And
Lead by
then-
example. People scream
Yes.
all the time, like, let's take care of America first before we worry about other places, which I agree with. But I mean,
Me too.
you can't blanket that. You can't just insulate yourself to enact that sort of theory. You have to do it. Unfortunately, you have to pick and choose because I mean, so much is wrong in so many places. So
Get your house in order.
yeah, get your own house in order, control what you can control within said house, and then we'll worry about the rest.
Yes. And all the engineering you're seeing at Tesla is in the United States. All the engineers and all of the development is occurring here. So
In Texas.
right. I've actually been to the factory and it's amazing. I mean, you see
Huge.
the focus and the design and the iterations that are occurring so quickly. And that's why he's dominating the market and can answer any problems that show up so quickly. It's the American way coming up. Now we just got to clean up the rest of America and all of us participate. Every single soul that lives here must participate in this resurgence and taking control of what we've built and not give it away. And if we do work with a partner, make sure we're partnered, not dominating or unequal footholds. Let's export.
Good business is mutually beneficial.
Absolutely.
I just
Win-win.
think it's so funny that people continually doubt that man, especially with Twitter, and that how can he actually revamp or revive or continue or make Twitter better than what it is, forgetting that this man was the founder of PayPal and so many other,
Exits, successful exits.
SpaceX. He puts race cars in space. Go figure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah, and
Like,
the government's using his rocket. It's like everybody's.
and it's
using
still early, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we'll still figure this out. It's still brand new. It's still fresh, but he is bringing in daily active users, and I think that just speaks to what people were asking for and what people were
Absolutely.
seeking. So
Imagine if we could accomplish what he's accomplishing at Twitter in Congress, in government,
anywhere.
Like
Well,
if
that's why you
we
have to
could do what
privatize
he's
it,
doing,
though.
like make it bloody, make these conversations. You're doing wrong, but we're making decisions and moving forward.
There's
Damn,
no
I don't-
competition in the government is the problem. Like the private sector has competition, so it actually has to show true
Yeah.
value. But if you have a government, contract, like you're good until contract comes back up. But people who are elected, a lot of times they're not given terms, and so there's no actual competition. They can do whatever they want without really being held in question, and they're buddies with the people who would be spanking them if they're stepping out of line. So if you grease the palms of the guy spanking you, you don't get spanked very hard.
Right.
Let's
Same
make
same
America
problem.
first
That's the
again.
downside of unions as well. It's the same thing. It's good intentions, but my gosh, in practice, it is just detrimental.
Yeah, because the fat, lazy, high seniority ones are the ones benefiting truly, and the hard
Exactly.
worker in the beginning. I've experienced it. I've been part of a union, and
Same.
it's just that, guys. This is not MAGA or anything. It's a fact, a situation that we need to get control of our own home.
Yeah.
All of us are here rowing together. Let's fucking row together.
Yeah.
This
And
is
stop.
love your neighbor, right?
Yes. Let's move forward. Stop.
A
saying
sphincter says what? A FedEx says what?
Yes. So moving on.
that. Yes.
Speaking
What?
of FedEx, all I heard was sphincter. So FedEx is furloughing employees, Jaime.
Yes.
And this is something that really piqued your attention.
Yes.
So Glenn Hubbard and Tony O'Brien, the Wall Street Journal, published a few weeks ago with the title "Economic Worries: Weak FedEx Results Push Stocks Lower." According to the article, the company has downbeat expectation and intensified investors' macroeconomic anxieties, and FedEx is now furloughing employees, and this is something that really has you concerned.
Yes.
So go ahead and explain to the audience exactly what you mean by this and why you were so shaken by this, more so than anybody else.
Yes. So our audience is still seeing this piece, right?
No.
But
Now they are.
okay. So in this article, there's a comment where it says but the fact that FedEx had a negative results in their shares and plunged almost 20% when they released the results, that was not the shocking part. The most shocking part of this announcement is the fact that they announced it before Black Friday, guys. That shows you that they already knew. And now you see Amazon following the same thing. And if you watch analysts that look at macroeconomic indicators like transport is your canary of the economic engine. Transport, if there is no, and transport involves anything and everything being moved from factories to the distribution, to the sales point of sales, to Amazon, for example, where it's distributed to the world. If they're already laying off before Black Friday, usually you would wait. Okay, let's see what happens Black Friday, then we make the decision. No, these guys pulled it now. That is a clear sign of the economy. What you're about to see is going to get a lot worse at this moment. If you look at analysts like Alessio Rostani or any others, they've always looked at the and even Fed, Alan Greenspan. I don't know if everyone knew this, and it's mentioned in this article. Alan Greenspan used to have conversations with the old CEO of FedEx before they made decisions, because that was their signal of, should we raise rates, lower rates, level rates? What should we do? That was their leading indicator of, are our policies having the effect we expect on the economy to make the next decision? So the fact that this is happening now and before we actually see the true effects is because FedEx already knows what's about to happen with it. So this implies everything that comes with the economy. So we will 2023, at least the first quarter, is not going to be a good quarter for all Americans, is what we see here.
So hold up. We shut the economy down for 2 years and there's ramifications. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. And then printing.
That dirty word consequence. Can't use that. It's not real. Doesn't happen.
Yes. And the fact that everyone, and even Amazon, was saying, guys, hold off on your large ticket item purchases because of what's coming.
What was it? Bezos said, "Don't go out and buy that fridge."
Correct. Do you understand? I mean, they are seeing, because they are the engines of that the Fed looks at to make decisions on the economy, on what to do next.
Yeah, and they continue to actually raise rates, which is, I think, crazy. That it's time to lay off of that shit. Even Elon was kind of like actually encouraging them to cut rates again.
Correct. So the problem is that the decisions usually are laggard decisions. It's already happening. FedEx is acting before the fact because they can already see it. So, and this is the first shoe, actually, of this turn that we're going to see in the macroeconomic conditions. And I'm not even going into what we're going to cover next on our next episode, but when this decision is made, there's a statistical occurrence that occurs with the economy the moment the Fed's pivot policy. The FedEx is the very trigger, the first sign of the canary hitting the floor of the cage at the coal mine. This is the first shot.
That's a hell of an analogy.
Yeah, but truly, but imagine
that.
We're trying to build America right now.
The Fed is the other big package for you.
FedEx
FedEx
the bird.
Goddamn. Fucking Tweety just fell out.
Yes. It literally, guys, this
Poor
is
bastard.
We're getting coal for Christmas, everyone. I mean,
You can burn coal, you'll stay warm. They don't have that in California. They turn the electricity off. So
I don't know what they're gonna do in California.
I don't either.
Especially in Northern California. But Southern, they're just roll down their windows and be warm. So pay attention, everyone. These are the times where if we were speaking of dollar cost averaging into assets that retain value in inflationary situations, in deflationary, in the dollar. The big question is, will it go up? Will it sustain value? There's conversations out there where Bitcoin may become the next stable coin. Meanwhile, everyone else, Argentina, Zimbabwe, Venezuela, Iran, and all these other places
El
that
Salvador.
that exactly have experienced
Brazil now.
Brazil now.
Brazil
Brazil.
just declared Bitcoin as a currency.
Yes,
Just happened.
where you can transact with it. It is a sign of things that are coming. We in the States have not experienced this level of economic downturn that is coming. All of us that have lived abroad or come from abroad and have experienced it, these are the signs. In Latin America, when we saw shipping and a FedEx scenario, we knew that the local economy was about to take a shit because commerce was about to take a shit, meaning that we in, let's say, Chile, that exports a lot of copper or exports a lot of fruits and wine and all these, shipping is going down, meaning my product is now not going to make it to there are no buyers on the other end if FedEx is making this type of decision. So it's showing a slowdown. They're already impacted by the rise of the US dollar. Now their products aren't getting out there. So now me on the state side am not going to get the product. What is the meaning? What happens when there is scarcity in products? Inflation. The price goes up. It's just inevitable. It's just basic economy 101. So we have to be careful with what's coming next.
That's compounded too by economy of scale. So as the economy of scale goes down, the cost for each service goes up. And so there's kind of a insult to injury that happens here where as the volume of actual business being done goes down, the cost to do business goes up and the risk goes up. So that's just to say that we can't be frivolous with what we're investing in. We ought to be calculated and informed, and you should be waking up every morning looking for ways to better equip yourself to provide value to, different markets and families.
Absolutely. So as part of your hedging is, silver, gold, or anything that is non-inflation or not as bad as inflation, and even non-perishables. I'm not talking about Armageddon's coming, but kind of look at it, deodorant, things like that can hold its life. It can hold value because
Old Spice to the moon. Yeah.
In the Latin American market, when scarcity comes in, a black market rises out of this, where it is a more controlled. It's almost like a bartering. So just start hedging your funds too.
Yeah,
savings are going up. Debt is already going through the moon on credit cards. So it's going to come to where now people start defaulting.
What concerns me too is like during all the COVID lockdowns, a lot of people who were renting were given the okie doke by the states to, not pay their rent, right? A lot of people with mortgages were given the okie doke to not pay their mortgage. And so my question simply is, how many more times can that happen, right? Before, sorry, we can't swing that anymore because we're already in a pretty dry state already. People haven't had the time to really recover from all of those financial impacts too. So I think people need to be really fiscally conservative right now.
And it's not affecting just the renter. How about the guy who has to pay the mortgage, continue paying the mortgage? So both sides of that property are being affected. So the entire economy is being affected by this.
Fiscally conservative without confusing investing being a part of that equation. So make sure that we're talking about being fiscally conservative and locking everything up, but by the same token, no pun intended. Just do it responsibly. I think at the end of the day is what we're trying to get at. So guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Check out the links in the description if you want to continue this conversation in our Discord. It's absolutely free to join. And also make sure if you're not subscribed already, hitting that subscribe button, the like button. We'll be back here on Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Do we have a guest on Friday?
Yes, we're getting confirmation on it.
Okay.
There's 3 guests
So-
that are fighting.
So tentative guest.
Yes.
A tentative guest on Friday. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And we have birthdays, guys. Winston Churchill was born on this day in 1874. Ben Stiller is 56. Bo Jackson is 59. And then my personal favorite on this list is Mandy Patinkin. You guys know who that is? Patinkin. He is Inigo Montoya on the Princess.
No way!
Yeah.
He is 69 years old. 69. If you've ever heard him talk about that scene, like he gets emotional about it. Yeah, like he loved that movie.
You keep saying that word. I don't think you know it.
I don't think it means what you think it means. By far one of my favorite movies. All right, so then we also have Constance Money. How could we forget? She is 66 years old today. Best known for Now That's How You Orgy. Maraschino Cherry, Girls Who Dig Girls 5, Annette Havens Tag Teamers, and then finally Confessions of a Teenage Peanut Butter Freak. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We certainly appreciate it. We'll see you guys on Friday.
Have a good one.
Keep calm. and
Shout
hold
out
on.
USA World Cup. Let's
Gang,
go.
gang.
Let's go.
Let's go.